Hey everyone. What we're going to do today is a feather jig. I was going over some stuff that I need for my fall fishing, and this is one of these jigs that I haven't done before. So we're going to do that. In the vise, we have a 1/8 ounce freestyle jig. See it flat sides, almost like an aspirin head. And it has eye sockets for the oversized eyes. Uh, it's one made by Do It. This was the 1/8 ounce. This is the smaller mold. But you could put some pretty large hooks. I believe this 8 ounce, I can get some 3/0 owner 5318s in there. But for this jig, this is a simple 1/8 ounce. It's painted black. Um, it's got a 1/0 Mustad 32 746 hook, nothing extravagant. And you see, this normally would take a wire keeper for a trailer. I didn't pour it with the keeper on it because of the type of jig we're tying. So we're going to get started here with some super glue brush on the shank, since there's no collar or anything to hold the thread in place. And we're going to use some red 210 denier flat wax nylon thread. And yes, I'm using red because this is an all black jig. I like some contrast with this and with the feathers that I'm going to put in. And with a collarless jig like this, you always want to get a really good thread base. I get it a little bit heavier than what I normally do on a jig with a collar. What the thread base does is it'll keep the material from spinning on you, and it anchors it down. It holds it really well. Okay, so your collar is going to be about 1/4 inch, not much longer than that. And this is a relatively simple jig. It's feathers and a little bit of Arctic fox hair to finish it. But you're going to want to get some strung saddle hackle. In this case, I have black, natural black strung hackle, and I got some grizzly strung hackle. Grizzly is just white with this black barring. It's natural. So you want saddle hackle too, which is it's a little bit thinner. And I scored this stuff off of eBay, the hackle. So we're going to start here with our first feather. We're just going to take this natural black, and I don't know if you could see on the camera or not, but it has this almost like an emerald sheen to it. Natural black hackle has like an iridescent quality to it that the dyed black doesn't have. So I kind of like gravitate towards this natural stuff. So we're going to take it, and what you want is, you see it has a natural curve. Well, you want that facing back. We want the front of the feather facing towards the hook point. So I'm just going to tie this on one side. And then I'm going to take a grizzly saddle, same way, and put that right aside on the back. I'm going to take another grizzly saddle. I'm going to put it aside of that one. And I'm going to take another black, and I'm going to put it on this side. And I'm going to make sure I have my feathers spaced the way I want them, which is just a little bit, not much. And I'm going to start tying a little bit of a collar, build up my thread a little bit. Now that I have my feathers in place, I'm going to take some black Arctic fox hair, and I want that to come down right where the hook point would be. Once they get it, I'm going to measure it off and cut the excess. If I could cut it. Scissors are starting to get dull. Make a wrap or two. And I'm going to work it around a little bit. Tie it. And I got another tuft of it here already cut. And you have to watch with this stuff. This has under fur in it like craft fur would. And you could substitute craft fur for this stuff. I scored a lot of this on eBay, this Arctic Fox, so that's why I'm using it. I like the material to begin with. And since I got enough now, I don't have to be sparing with it. But it has some under fur on it too. And if you wanted to substitute craft fur for the Arctic Fox, that would work perfectly well. In fact, I have a couple of these that I've done with craft fur the last couple of years because I haven't been able to get the Arctic Fox. I'll tie that in that side and then start working the collar. And the reason I'm using the red, again, like I said in the beginning, it's a contrasting. I like using a little bit of color on this type of jig. And I like tying the collar on a little bit of a taper. I make crappy jigs the same way. I just think it looks more natural. That's me. It doesn't mean squat to the fish, I guarantee you. And you see that's, when you tire that, it's a little bit long in the collar, which one of the reasons I like the color again, because of the black. And with this type of jig, your collar means a lot. It's actually part of it, not just to hold the material in, but it gives it a look because you're tying a little bit longer collar than what you normally would, because there is no lead collar or anything on there. And we're going to whip finish it. Trim. Sally Hansen's. We get down to the bottom of the barrel here with this stuff, so we're starting to get the strings. And it happens when after this nail polish gets down so low, it takes a while to get there, but when it does, it starts to get a little thicker and you start getting strings. That's when you know it's time to get a new bottle. So there you have it. I'll pull it out here so you can get a good look at it. Forceps, so I can hold it without my fingers getting in the way. There it is. And in case I forgot to mention it, which I probably didn't, these feathers, you want about 2.5, 3 inches sticking out the back. I like it around 2 3/4 to 3 inches. This thing has a lot of action in the water. It's a good minnow imitator. Excellent for colder water. Give it a shot. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.